What if I told you there are places on Earth so dangerous that just breathing the air could kill you in minutes? Places where the ground itself is more toxic than a nuclear reactor, and others where nature has created death traps that make horror movies look like fairy tales. Today, we're diving into the most terrifying locations on our planet, places so deadly that they challenge the very concept of human survival. From lakes that turn animals into stone statues to islands covered in the world's most venomous snakes, these destinations make even the most extreme adventure seekers think twice. Before we start this terrifying journey, let me ask you this. Have you ever visited a place that genuinely scared you? Drop a skull emoji in the comments if you've been somewhere that gave you serious chills. So buckle up, because we're about to explore 10 places that are so dangerous, they might just make you appreciate the safety of your own home a little bit more. Number 1. Death Valley, California. Death Valley's Furnace Creek holds the record for the highest temperature ever recorded, 134 degrees Fahrenheit. The ground temperature here reaches 201 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to literally cook an egg on the pavement. But the heat isn't the only killer. The air is so dry that you can become dangerously dehydrated in just 15 minutes. Your sweat evaporates so quickly that you don't realize you're losing water until it's too late. Rescue teams regularly find bodies of hikers who underestimated this desert's brutal power. The landscape creates a white, crystalline desert that reflects the sun's rays like a massive mirror, causing snow blindness and lung damage from salt in the air. Have you ever experienced extreme heat that made you question your life choices? Drop a fire emoji if you felt like you were melting. Number 2. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Imagine a lake so toxic that it turns animals into stone statues. Sounds like something out of a mythology book, right? Well, Lake Natron in Tanzania is exactly that. A real-life Medusa's mirror. This lake has a pH level of 12. That's as alkaline as ammonia. The water temperature can reach 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, hot enough to cause third-degree burns. The lake gets its deadly properties from sodium carbonate and other minerals that flow in from the surrounding volcanic activity. But here's where it gets truly terrifying. Animals that die in or near the lake become calcified, turning into perfect stone statues. The alkaline water essentially mummifies them, preserving their bodies in haunting detail. Flamingos, bats, and other birds have been found perfectly preserved, looking like they were turned to stone mid-flight. The lake's surface is covered in a red algae that thrives in the extreme conditions, giving the water a blood-red color that makes it look like something from the underworld. Local legends say that evil spirits live in the lake, and honestly, looking at those stone animals, it's hard to argue with that belief. The air around the lake is filled with toxic fumes that can cause severe respiratory problems. Even standing on the shore for extended periods can cause chemical burns on exposed skin. It's a place where nature itself seems to be warning you to stay away. Number 3. Snake Island, Brazil. Off Brazil's coast lies Snake Island, home to 4,000 golden lancehead vipers. That's roughly one deadly snake for every square meter of land. These snakes are so venomous they can kill a human in under an hour. Their venom literally melts human flesh and causes brain hemorrhaging. The Brazilian government has completely banned civilian access. Even researchers need a doctor on standby. The snakes evolved in isolation, making them more venomous than their mainland cousins. They hang from tree branches over the water, ready to drop onto boats that come too close. Are you afraid of snakes? Drop a snake emoji if the thought of being surrounded by thousands of venomous serpents gives you nightmares. Number 4. The Danakill Desert, Ethiopia. The Danakill Desert sits 410 feet below sea level, with temperatures exceeding 125 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is filled with toxic gases, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, and chlorine gas that cause severe respiratory damage. Hot springs suddenly erupt, shooting boiling water high into the air. The salt flats are riddled with sinkholes, and acid pools can dissolve metal. The ground is so unstable that GPS systems fail due to electromagnetic activity from volcanic activity. Even scientists need gas masks and can only stay for short periods in this place where Earth's raw destructive power is on full display. Number 5. Centralia, Pennsylvania. Imagine a town where the ground beneath your feet has been on fire for over 60 years. That's Centralia, Pennsylvania, a place where an underground coal fire has been burning since 1962, and experts say it could continue burning for another 250 years. What started as a small trash fire in a landfill ignited the coal seam beneath the town. The fire spread through the underground coal mines, creating a subterranean inferno that no one could extinguish. The ground temperature in some areas reaches 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 538 degrees Celsius. But the fire itself isn't the only danger. The burning coal produces deadly carbon monoxide gas that seeps up through cracks in the ground. Residents reported headaches, dizziness, and nausea before they realized they were being slowly poisoned by invisible gas. The ground is so unstable that it can suddenly collapse, creating sinkholes that drop into the burning coal seams below. In 1981, a 12-year-old boy nearly died when the ground gave way beneath him, and he was saved only by a tree root he managed to grab. The government eventually relocated most of the town's residents, but a few stubborn souls refused to leave. They live in a ghost town where steam rises from cracks in the streets, where the pavement is too hot to touch, and where the smell of sulfur fills the air. Could you imagine living in a town where the ground is literally on fire beneath your feet? Drop a fire emoji if you think these residents are either incredibly brave or absolutely crazy. Number 6. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. Nearly 40 years after the disaster, Chernobyl remains one of Earth's most dangerous places. The elephant's foot, radioactive material from the meltdown, is so dangerous that just looking at it for minutes can cause radiation sickness. What's terrifying is how normal it looks. Nature has reclaimed Pripyat, but the invisible radiation is still deadly. Even the wild boar are so radioactive they can't be consumed by humans. The abandoned city feels like a time capsule of human tragedy. Toys in playgrounds, books on desks, personal belongings scattered throughout homes. Number 7. Mount Merapi, Indonesia. Mount Merapi, whose name literally means fire mountain, is one of the most active and dangerous volcanoes in the world. This Indonesian volcano has erupted regularly every 2 to 3 years for the past century, and each eruption brings death and destruction. What makes Merapi particularly terrifying is its pyroclastic flows, superheated gas and volcanic material that races down the mountain at speeds up to 450 miles per hour, 700 kilometers per hour. These flows can reach temperatures of 1,830 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,000 degrees Celsius, and incinerate everything in their path. The volcano sits in one of the most densely populated areas of Indonesia, with over 3 million people living in the danger zone. When Merapi erupts, there's often little warning, and evacuation becomes a race against time. The 2010 eruption killed over 350 people and displaced 400,000 others. But people continue to live on the volcano's slopes because the volcanic soil is incredibly fertile. It's a deadly gamble. Risk death for the chance at a better life. Local communities have developed elaborate warning systems and evacuation plans, but the volcano doesn't always follow predictable patterns. The mountain is constantly monitored by volcanologists, but even they can't predict exactly when the next major eruption will occur. They can only watch for signs and hope they have enough time to warn the population. It's like living next to a sleeping giant that could wake up at any moment. Would you live on fertile land knowing a deadly volcano could erupt at any time? Drop a volcano emoji if you think these people are playing with fire, literally. Number 8. The Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the world's oceans, descending over 36,000 feet below sea level. At this depth, the pressure is over 1,000 times greater than at sea level, enough to crush a human body instantly. But the crushing pressure isn't the only danger. The trench is home to some of the most alien and terrifying creatures on Earth. Giant tube worms that feed on toxic chemicals, translucent fish with antifreeze proteins, and creatures that look like they belong in a horror movie rather than on our planet. The water temperature near the bottom hovers just above freezing, and there's no sunlight whatsoever. It's a world of perpetual darkness where only the most adapted creatures can survive. The few humans who have descended to these depths have done so in specially designed submersibles that cost millions of dollars to build. What makes this place even more terrifying is how little we know about it. We've explored less than 5% of the world's oceans, and the deepest parts remain largely mysterious. There could be creatures down there that we've never imagined, living in conditions that would kill any surface dweller instantly. The psychological impact of being in such a place is overwhelming. The complete darkness, the knowledge that you're miles beneath the surface, and the understanding that any equipment failure would mean instant death creates a level of fear that few humans ever experience. Number 9. Fukushima, Exclusion Zone, Japan. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant disaster in 2011 created another exclusion zone that will remain dangerous for decades. Unlike Chernobyl, which was the result of human error, Fukushima was caused by a natural disaster, a tsunami that overwhelmed the plant's safety systems. The exclusion zone around Fukushima covers about 600 square miles and was home to over 100,000 people before the disaster. The radiation levels vary throughout the zone, with some areas still too dangerous for human habitation. What makes Fukushima particularly haunting is how modern it is. Unlike the Soviet-era buildings of Pripyat, Fukushima's exclusion zone contains modern homes, shopping centers, and schools. It's easier to imagine yourself living there, which makes the abandonment even more chilling. The Japanese government has been slowly allowing people to return to some areas, but many residents are reluctant to come back. The psychological impact of living in a place where invisible radiation could be harming you and your family is overwhelming for many people. Wild animals have moved into the abandoned areas, including wild boar that roam through empty neighborhoods. These animals, like those in Chernobyl, carry radiation in their bodies, creating a new kind of ecosystem where the rules of nature have been fundamentally altered. Could you ever return to live in a place that was contaminated by radiation, even if authorities said it was safe? Drop a radiation symbol if you think you'd be too scared to ever go back. Number 10. Madi National Park, Bolivia. Our final location might surprise you because it's absolutely beautiful. Madi National Park in Bolivia is one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. But this biodiversity comes with a deadly price. The park is home to the most poisonous and venomous creatures on the planet. The golden poison dart frog alone carries enough toxin to kill 10 adult humans. There are spiders whose bite can cause flesh-eating necrosis, snakes that can kill with a single strike, and plants that are so toxic that even touching them can cause severe reactions. But the real danger isn't just the animals, it's the environment itself. The park's remote location means that if something goes wrong, rescue is days away. The dense jungle can disorient even experienced guides, and the humid climate accelerates infection and disease. Many insects in the park carry diseases that don't exist anywhere else in the world. Some flies lay eggs under human skin, parasites that can cause blindness, and mosquitoes that carry multiple tropical diseases simultaneously. The indigenous people who live in the area have developed immunity to many of these threats over generations, but outsiders are extremely vulnerable. Even experienced researchers require extensive preparation and medical support before entering the park. What makes this place truly terrifying is that it looks like paradise. The beauty masks the danger, luring people into a false sense of security before the jungle reveals its deadly nature. These 10 locations represent some of the most extreme environments our planet has to offer. From the burning underground fires of Centralia to the crushing depths of the Mariana Trench, from the toxic lakes of Tanzania to the radioactive wastelands of Chernobyl, these places remind us that Earth can be as deadly as it is beautiful. What's fascinating is that despite their dangers, these locations continue to attract scientists, researchers, and even tourists who want to experience the extreme. They represent the boundaries of human survival and the limits of our planet's habitability. Some of these places, like the nuclear exclusion zones, are dangerous because of human actions. Others, like Snake Island and the Danakill Desert, showcase nature's raw power and the evolutionary adaptations that can make environments uninhabitable for most life forms. Which of these deadly locations surprised you the most? Drop the number 1 to 10 of the place that you found most terrifying in the comments below. These places also serve as important reminders about our impact on the planet. The radioactive zones show us the long-term consequences of nuclear technology, while places like the Mariana Trench remind us how much of our own planet remains unexplored and mysterious. Perhaps most importantly, these dangerous locations make us appreciate the relatively safe environments where most of us live. They remind us that the Earth is not just our home. It's also a planet of extremes that can challenge human survival in ways we're only beginning to understand. Have you ever wanted to visit any of these dangerous places, or are you perfectly happy experiencing them from the safety of your screen? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey to the world's most dangerous places, don't forget to subscribe for more incredible content about our amazing and terrifying planet. Remember, while these places are fascinating to learn about, they're dangerous for good reason. Leave the exploration to the experts and scientists who have the proper equipment and training to study these extreme environments safely. Thanks for joining me on this journey to some of the most dangerous places on Earth. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the most beautiful places can also be the most deadly.